So let's have a seat and check in with our bodies. Find a nice, straight, aligned spine. Let your shoulders relax, let your jaw relax. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale through your mouth. And just kind of settle into your skin. Close your eyes and be very mindful of everything you feel in your body. Begin that nice, deep, slow Ujjayi breathing. And as you start listening to the sound of your breath, also kind of check in with your thought processes. And it doesn't really matter so much what you're thinking about, but rather how you're thinking. Like, what's the pattern of your thoughts? How rapidly or sluggishly are your thoughts moving? That sort of thing. Also check in with emotions and notice your energy. And then after you've had the opportunity to take stock of those things, decide if any of that needs to be changed or transformed or altered. And you can use that information to inform the intention that you set for your practice. So bringing palms together in front of the heart. Go ahead and set your personal intention for practice today. And then take an extra deep inhale through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. We're going to stay seated. So if your legs are crossed, put your hands on your knees. If your legs are extended, put your hands under your thighs. It'll keep you from falling backwards when you do torso circles. So we're going to do 3 really big torso circles in each direction. And I want you to make it as big a movement as you can. And be mindful of what you feel in the hips and the low back. We're kind of going to be playing with those areas today. So a little hip opening and low back lengthening. So you can think of these first torso circles as your little exploratory moment to see how those areas of your body are doing right now. And when you've had 3 circles in each direction, you can just come back to the center. Transition onto your hands and knees. Let's do a couple of cat-cow stretches. Also really good for letting you know how your back is feeling. So you inhale when you arch, and you exhale when you round. Now, the next time you exhale, go ahead and take your backside to your heels, but keep your arms out in front of you. So it's actually going to be an extended child's pose. Just take a couple of breaths here. You can let the arms relax for a moment. But we're going to do a little bit of an offset rocking child's pose. So what I want you to do is come back up onto all fours. That's an inhale. Now, as you exhale, take your bum a little bit over to the right, kind of like you're sitting on your right heel. And then inhale back up. And as you exhale, sit down over on the left heel. So we're just kind of going side to side here. Inhaling up, exhaling, sitting on the right heel. Inhaling up, exhaling, and sitting on the left heel. I want you to do one more time on each side. And then when you finish that, go ahead and scoot forward into Sphinx. Big toes touching, heels dropping open, pulling the heart forward, lengthening your spine. And then downward facing dog. So after you've had a moment to wiggle or move or do whatever you need to do in your down dog, you can slowly walk your feet forward, keep your knees bent, and you're just gonna relax forward into ragdoll. So your neck is relaxed, you're just hanging, letting the spine lengthen. And then on your next inhale, come all the way up, reach the arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway, and then exhale back down. We're gonna step back with the left foot. Just hold your lunge for a moment. Drop your left knee down, and we're gonna begin by extending the right leg. We're gonna get right into that right hamstring. So get the right leg as straight as you comfortably can. Flex the ankle and toes. Heart pulls forward. And then go ahead and bend your right knee, and you're gonna put your right hand on the inside of the right knee, roll to the outside edge of that foot, and then apply a little bit of pressure. So you're just looking for sensation in that right outer hip. And then from here, we'll just let that right knee point back up towards the ceiling. Bring both hands to the top of your right thigh, tilt your pelvis, and let the hips go forward. So you're gonna find that initial stretch on the front of your left hip. Then I want you to take just the left arm up and maybe lean a little bit to the right, maybe a little bit back, maybe a combination of both. You're just sort of enhancing that left front hip stretch. Then we're gonna bring both hands down inside the right foot. See if you can come onto your left forearm, perhaps both, maybe use a block if you need to. If you're feeling like you want to, and it's purely optional, you're welcome to turn the left toes under and lift that left knee up off the floor. But that's just if you feel like it. From here, we're gonna come back up onto our hands, move the right leg back to meet the left leg. Give yourself a little bit of a tail wag. Those of you that are doing full-on vinyasas, this is your moment. Off you go. The rest of us are gonna take a child's pose, traditional right down the middle child's pose. If you're in child's pose with me, you'll scoot forward into another Sphinx, lengthen out. And then downward facing dog. From this down dog, we're gonna take a big step forward with the left foot. Just hold the lunge for a moment. Go ahead and drop your right knee down, fully extend your left leg to the best of your ability. So now we're getting into that left hamstring, flex the ankle and toes, try and pull the chest forward. And then bend your left knee, put your left hand on the inside of the left knee, roll to the outside edge of that foot and apply some pressure. Let your left knee point back up towards the ceiling. Bring both hands to the top of your left thigh. Tilt your pelvis back. Let the hips move forward. And then when you find that stretch on the front of your right hip, take just the right arm up. You can reach it a little over to the left, maybe a little back. Just kind of find that perfect amount of stretch on the front of your right hip. And then we're going to bring both hands down inside the left foot. See if you can make it down onto your right forearm. Maybe you can get both of them down. Remember, you can always use a block. And only if you're feeling it, do feel welcome to turn right toes under and lift the right knee up. But remember, you don't have to do that. You can keep that knee down. From here, we're going to come back up onto our hands, step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So we're going to take a big breath in, reach up. As you exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway. And then back down. So we're going to step back onto our hands and knees. Give yourself a little tail wag if you need to. And by the way, since we are doing some hip work today, those of you with knee issues, you need to be very mindful. So only do things that feel good for you. And if something doesn't feel good for you, opt out. So this first one might be a little tricky. That's part of why I'm saying that now. So if you can, you're going to cross your left leg behind your right leg. Both knees are flat on the floor. You're going to separate the feet a little bit. Take your time and go slow. You might want to keep weight on your hands so that your knees don't get too much flexion. But if you can, the idea is to start sitting back down between the feet. Chest is lifted. If you need to keep weight on your hands, go for it. Take 2 more breaths here. And then just transition back onto your hands and knees, uncross the legs. You're always welcome to wag your tail anytime you need to. Right knee crosses behind left. If you can, you separate the feet. So maybe you just barely rock your buns back and keep weight on your hands. You know that's completely acceptable, right? You don't have to go any farther than your body says is a good idea to do so. But if you can, you go ahead and sit down between the feet. Straight spine, chest lifted, and you breathe 2 more breaths here. And then we go back onto our hands and knees, wag the tail, straight into downward facing dog. Press those hips up and back. Now for your down dog, you're going to go ahead and walk your feet forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Turn sideways. Take a moderately wide step out with your toes rotated out. So we're just going to do that little bit of a back traction. I want you to bend your knees, have your hands on your thighs with your elbows completely straight. You need your arms locked out. And then the idea is we're going to push against the inside of the left thigh as we look over our right shoulder. So you'll feel as you press against the inside of that thigh and that left arm is totally straight, you should feel your left hip and left side of the low back stretch. Go ahead and switch sides. Look over your left shoulder, press against the inside of the right thigh. Same thing, right arm is totally straight. And then come on up from that. Roll your shoulders back. And then we're going to take the heels apart. So now you're in a wider stance just because you widened your heels, right? Hopefully you're wide enough here. If you need to adjust your feet, go for it. But we're gonna move into warrior two on the right side. So I want you to rotate your left foot in and your right foot out. Go ahead and bend that right knee. Make sure your right knee is pressing towards your right little toe. Arms are out to the side. Same tractioning move, but just a little deeper. Right hand to the inside of the right thigh. Left hand is gonna slide down towards your left ankle. If you don't get all the way down there, that's fine. But if you do, even better, bend your right knee a little deeper and press against the inside of your right thigh. Right arm should be totally straight, completely locked out at the elbow joint. Come up. If you can, keep that right knee bent. Left hand on left thigh, reverse your warrior. And then come on up from that. You're back in warrior two. Now listen, if you need to modify, those of you with knee issues, you know that a figure four stretch on your back is like a pigeon. Because here's what we're gonna do, and you'll be facing the opposite direction on your mat, don't worry, we'll come up and do the other side. What I want you to do is take your hands to the mat on either side of your right foot and swivel onto the left toes. Drop your left knee down. Walk the right foot towards the left side of your mat and let your right shin come down and slide the left leg back for pigeon. Again, if pigeon is a bad idea for you, we're here for 6 breaths. You've got time to roll onto your back and do a figure four with your right ankle crossed over your left knee. If you're with me in pigeon, find the place that you feel your right glute, your right buttock. And then just as much as you can, you relax your neck and you breathe. So here's what we're gonna do from here. If you're in pigeon with me, you'll just come up to your hands and step back to down dog. Those of you in figure four, go ahead and roll over, move into downward facing dog, stretch the hips up and back. Now listen, right foot forward. Yes, still the right foot. Spin your left heel flat and come back up into your warrior two on the right side. Straighten your right leg. Lengthen the rib cage to the right and take a triangle pose. Go ahead and come all the way up from that. Rotate your right foot in. Rotate your left foot out. Warrior two to the left now. So your left knee bends, your arms are out to the side. You want to make sure that left knee is tracking towards the little toe. You're kind of pressing it out to engage that outer hip muscle. And then we're going to traction. So the left hand comes to the inside of the left thigh. That right hand slides down towards the right ankle, and it's okay if it doesn't get all the way down there. Push your left arm totally straight. Keep the left knee bent and relax your neck. So now you're tractioning on the left side. Come all the way back up. If you can, keep that left knee bent. That'll keep things warm. Take your right hand to your right thigh, reverse your warrior. You're gonna come all the way back up. Remember, your modification for pigeon, if you need it, is a figure four on your back. If you're doing pigeon, you're gonna take your hands to either side of the left foot, swivel onto the right toes. Drop the right knee down and walk your left foot over towards the right side of the mat. Let the left shin drop, let the right knee slide back, and suddenly, ta-da, you should feel your left buttock. Come onto the forearms or flatten out, and we're here for 6 breaths. So for those of you on your back in figure four, your left ankle should be crossed over your right knee. Whatever pose you're in, you're gonna find your way to downward facing dog. So if you're in pigeon with me, you're coming up onto the hands, just step your left leg back, downward facing dog. Press the hips up and back. If you were in figure 4, find your way back to down dog. And then yes, left foot steps forward. Spin that right heel flat. Come on up, straightening the left leg. Hips kick to the right. We're lengthening out now for triangle on the left side. Try and keep your spine long. From here, I want you to come back up. Rotate your left foot forward. So you want to look down and make sure your feet are completely parallel, right? We're going to hinge at the hips. Bring the hands to the mat. Totally relax the neck and just hang for a moment. And then just kind of start walking your hands towards your right foot as you bend the right knee a little bit. What we're looking for is left inner thigh stretch. Begin to straighten the right leg. You should feel right hamstring. And then start walking hands towards left foot. As you bend the left knee, you'll get into some right inner thigh stretch. And then just begin to straighten that left leg. You'll feel your left hamstring. Come back to the center. Toe heel your feet enough that you can just take a big breath in and reach all the way up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, come back to the front of the mat with the feet together and the palms together. You want to make sure that your feet are touching. So you're going to inhale and reach up. And as you exhale, go ahead and fold forward. Bring your fingertips or your hands right by your feet. Bend your knees a little bit. Squeeze your knees together. Make sure they point forward. Keep them just like that. And walk your hands around in a tight little circle towards your right heel. You should feel the left side of your low back stretching. Take a deep breath into that. Keep your knees pointing forward. Walk your hands around to the left, kind of towards your left heel. Knees are still bent, squeezed together and pointing forward. You should feel right side of the low back. Breathe into that. Come back to the center, and then just go ahead and move back onto your hands and knees. Give yourself a little tail wag. Those of you doing vinyasas, off Fido, the rest of us are going to take a child's pose and stretch out those glutes. Scoot forward into Sphinx. And then downward facing dog. From your down dog, walk your feet forward again. Big inhale, arms reach up. And then exhale, palms together in front of the heart. All right, so our balance pose today is going to be a standing pigeon. So if you had to do figure 4 stretch because of knee issues, look, you get to do a pigeon standing up. What I want to kind of remind you though, if you did do pigeon face down, it's going to look just like that. Like if you did pigeon face down and someone stood you up, that's kind of what we're going for. The same things apply as far as getting sensation in the glute. The angle at the knee, how open or closed it is, and also the angle at the hip will determine whether or not you feel this in your backside. So if you are balance challenged, my suggestion is lean your back against a wall. You're going to need both hands. If you can do it in the middle of the room, great. But if you need something to help stabilize you, your back should be against a wall. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stand on the right foot first. If you can, I'd like you to grab your left foot with both hands. If you can't get it, you can grab your pants. Flex that left ankle. That's very important. And then find a straight spine. Then you're going to start to open your knee joint up, like maybe close to 90 degrees. That may not happen for everyone, but that's okay. And then you want to start pulling your left foot towards your right armpit. So now it's just like being face down in pigeon, except you're not loading your body weight on your left knee. You should feel your left buttock, your left glute. Take a couple more breaths. And then just put your left foot back down. All right, same thing on the other side. Remember, one side may feel quite different. You're standing on the left foot. If you can, you're grabbing your right foot, ankle, or if you need to, your pants with both hands. Flex your right ankle, that'll protect the knee. Open the knee joint up as much as you feel like you can, up to 90 degrees. Keep the chest lifted. Pull the foot towards the left armpit. It may be like just far, far away from your armpit. That's fine. What we're looking for is sensation in the right buttock, the right glute. And release your right leg down. Roll your shoulders back. Good. And then feet together at the front of the mat. Palms together. Take a big inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. Go ahead and step straight back to downward facing dog. Now, for your downward facing dog, I'd like you to just take your right leg up in the air, bend the knee, and begin rolling your right hip bone up towards the ceiling, letting that right leg drop behind you. Take a couple of breaths here. Right foot comes back down. Left leg goes up. We bend the knee. We roll the hip bone open. Let the left leg drop behind us. Left foot back down, drop to your knees. Those of you taking vinyasas, this is your last one. Those of you with me, we're taking our last child's pose. Forehead down, buns to heels. And then scoot into Sphinx if you're with me. One final spine lengthening pose. And then we'll move into downward facing dog. Last down dog. So really maximize spine lengthening benefits here. Tailbone pokes up towards the ceiling. Hips reach up and back, heels reach down. And then we just walk our feet forward and have a seat in Dandasana. So just taking a moment to check in. Noticing how everything feels. Reconnecting to breath can be really helpful because hip work can be interesting, right? So let's go ahead and keep right leg straight. We're going to bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Lean out over your right leg. Come on up from that. Pick your left foot up. Flex the ankle. Bring it on top of your right thigh, just above the knee. Lean out again. Now, those of you that want to, and that would be people with tighter hips. If you have pretty open hips, there's not much return on this. But for those of us that have tighter hips, if you want, for a couple of breaths, you can press against the inside of your left thigh while you continue to lean forward over the right leg. And you'll get that same kind of tractioning feeling in that left outer hip and low back. And then from here, we're going to keep the ankle crossed, bring the hands right behind us, push into the floor for that super straight spine. Bend your right knee. So if you need to, you scoot your bum up towards your right heel, but you keep your spine straight and lifted and pushing forward. If you want, you're welcome to clasp the right shin and use that as leverage to get the spine even straighter. But if that's too much for you, keep your hands on the floor. It's all about sensation in the left glute right now. And then we're gonna just let the right leg drop to the right until the entire sole of the left foot hits the ground. Even if your left bun lifts, that's okay. Left hand is behind you, and we're gonna twist to the left. So you can hug the knee and just rotate to the left, or you can bring your right elbow outside of the left knee or thigh. Either way, you're just getting a nice spinal twist to the left. Ideally, your spine is straight up and down. Try not to hunch and round on this. Now, as we unwind from this, I'm sorry, but we're going into stacked logs, double pigeon, fire logs. So here's what happens. The right ankle, that's the one that you can see on the ground. You're gonna open that out just a little bit. You're gonna let your left ankle come directly on top of your right knee. So if you look down, there is a triangular shaped opening and your thighs are vertically stacked. Now, if you're like me and your thighs are not touching, your shins are not touching, you have a couple of options. You just stay here with your spine straight, sweating bullets and breathing, or you can lean forward and try and get forearms to the floor and the shins will start to stack. Now, there's probably a couple of you out there who have really open hips and you're going, oh, I don't feel anything. For you, only if your shins have flopped on top of each other, you might consider putting your left elbow or tricep in the arch of the left foot, both hands on the ground and twisting to the right. If your shins don't meet, don't do the twist yet. So I still have space between mine. I'm just gonna lean forward. We're just here for a few more breaths. I promise you'll live. Go ahead and come on out of that. Extend both legs. Woo, give them a good wiggle. So those of you who have very open hips have no idea how much the rest of us suffer during that pose. All right, keep your left leg straight. Right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Lean out over your left leg. And then from here, we're gonna come up and take right foot on top of left thigh. Flex the ankle, please, and lean out again. So just like we did on the first side, it's purely optional, but if you would like a little additional traction in the right hip, right side of the low back, your right hand would go to the inside of the right thigh as you kind of press down and out while still leaning over your left leg. That's purely optional. And then from here, we bring the hands right behind the backside, push into the floor for a straight spine. Left knee bends. And so again, you scooch up if you need to. You keep your spine very straight, lifted, and pressing forward. Hands can certainly stay on the ground. If you prefer, you can reach around and grab the left shin, but you don't want to hunch them around. You want to lift the chest and actually use your shin as leverage to pull yourself farther forward. So you should be feeling this in your right glute. And then from here, we're just gonna let the left leg drop over to the left. Get the whole sole of your right foot flat, even if the right glute lifts, that's fine. And then we twist to the right. Your right hand is behind you. You can either hug the right knee or bring that left arm outside of it. Straight spine, rotating, twisting to look over right shoulder. And yes, we're gonna do stacked logs, fire logs, double pigeon, all of those on this side. So your left foot comes out a little bit. Your right foot stacks on top of your left knee. And again, you want both ankles flexed. That's so important for protecting your knees. If you're tight-hipped person like me and you've got space between your shins, you either just sit here and breathe or you fold forward. Those of you who are fortunate enough to have open hips, you can put the elbow or tricep in the arch of the right foot and twist to the left. Yet again, if you're not like relaxed, open in this pose, don't go to phase 3 until it's time, right? So for me, I'm gonna lean forward and breathe. You guys do what you need to do. And then we come on out of that, extend your legs. Ooh, give them a good wiggle. And then we're gonna have our hands right behind our backside. Bring the soles of your feet together. Spine is straight, knees are pressing out to the side and reaching down for the ground. Keep the soles of your feet together. Let's slide them way out in front of you. And then clasp your ankles or feet and just kind of nestle your rib cage down between your thighs. So in this position, you might feel it a little bit in the outer hips. You might feel it in the sacrum, which is really nice. It should be a gentle sensation if you do feel it in your sacrum, which is a little bit below your low back. It shouldn't be unpleasant, so monitor yourself. We're here for just a few breaths. Go ahead and come on up from that. Extend those legs out into that nice wide V. Make sure you're on your sit bones, feet are flexed. And then just lengthen yourself forward for just a few breaths. By the way, your hands can be behind you if that's helpful in keeping the spine straight. Or you can be, hands out in front of you, or you can have your hands on your legs if you prefer. And then we're just going to come on up from that. Bring the legs together. Give them a really good wiggle. And then from here, you get to roll onto your back, hug your knees in, and rock side to side. Just kind of check out how the low back is feeling right now. Hopefully it's feeling pretty open and supple. So as you know, there's a very direct connection between gluteal muscles and low back muscles and hamstrings as well, by the way. So when one releases, particularly when the glutes release, the low back frequently lets go as well. So we're going into another figure four. Right ankle across left knee. For some of you guys, it's your second time here. For some of us, it's the first time on the back. Flex your right ankle. Either grab behind your left thigh or in front of your left shin. Pull your left knee to your chest. You're going to notice, yet again, that right foot's kind of moving towards your left armpit, right? That's how we find that right glute stretch. Just take a couple more breaths here. And then keep your right ankle crossed, but put your left foot back down on the mat. Drop your legs to the left. You want the entire sole of your right foot touching the floor. This time you're going to use your left hand on the inside of the right knee and press the leg open. Now, as you're starting to press against the inside of your right thigh, keep your right foot flat on the floor. Don't let it get lazy. Take a couple breaths. You should feel a subtle sensation in your right outer hip. Now, on your next inhale, you're going to bring the legs back up. And you're going to let your right thigh slide all the way across your left thigh. Now, we have that tight crossing of the legs. Hug the knees into the chest. That might be enough to let you feel your right glute again. But if you can, you're going to flex your ankles and grab the ankles or feet. Yet again, the key to getting this stretch to work is, number one, knees into the chest. Number two, you have to start opening up at your knee joint. I like to try and get about a 90-degree angle at each knee. And then you're going to pull a little bit. And then you should feel exactly what you're supposed to feel. If it's too much, back off a little bit. If it's not enough, apply a little more pressure. Let go of the feet or ankles. Keep your knees crossed. We're going to draw 3 big circles in the air with our knees in each direction. This should make your low back and sacrum feel really happy. And as you finish those circles up, just uncross your legs, hug your knees in. Give yourself a little side-to-side rock. And then we do all that on the other side. So starting off with just a traditional figure 4, left ankle crosses right knee, and we flex that left ankle. You're either going to grab behind the right thigh or in front of the right shin, flex your left foot, pull your right knee in towards your chest. So what do you see? You see your left foot is moving towards your right armpit. Hopefully you're feeling a pleasant stretch in your left glute and left piriformis. From here, we keep the ankle crossed. We'll put the right foot back down on the mat. Then you're going to drop your right leg over to the right. The entire sole of your left foot should be flat on the floor. Right hand presses against the inside of that left thigh, keeping left foot flat. And you should feel a little something in your left outer hip. Come on up. Let your left thigh slide all the way across the right thigh. Hug your knees into your chest. If that's enough, then you can stay here. If you want more, flex your ankles, reach down and grab the feet or ankles if you can. Remember, first thing, knees to the chest. Second thing, open up at your knee joints, right? Your feet should be out to the sides. They should not be down by your backside. And then you pull a little bit, just a little, until you feel your left glute. Keep your knees tightly crossed. We'll let go of the feet or ankles. Let's draw 3 big circles in the air in each direction with the knees again. And as you finish all your circles out, uncross your legs, hug your knees in, rock side to side. And then just keep your knees bent and together. Let them drop over to the right. Let your left arm open out to the left. Just a nice gentle twist. Let's start unwinding the back a little bit. On your next inhale, you're going to let the knees come back up. As you exhale, let them drop over to the left. Right arm's going to open out to the right. Head turns to the right if you can. On your next inhale, bring the legs back up, and as you exhale, hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side. So my suggestion for your inversion today is, if it works for you, halasana, which means plow pose, which is the ones with our legs up and overhead. So you hike your hips into your hands and let your legs start to drop overhead. You just hang on to your hips. Now, if you can't do that because of neck or shoulder issues, my suggestion would be either, if you've got a block, you put your hips on a block and let your legs just float up. If you got a piece of furniture nearby, you let your legs or feet just sit on the furniture. Or if you need to, you just hang on to the back of the thighs and let the legs be up. So simple inversion today. So you're either going to do your bum on a block with your legs floating in the air, legs actually up a wall or on a piece of furniture, or you're hanging onto your legs. If you can do it though, you'll go ahead and hike your bum into your hands. Legs go up and overhead. Maybe the feet touch the floor, maybe not. Doesn't matter. Take a couple of breaths. 2 more breaths. On your next exhale, just slowly come on out of whatever inversion you are in. Hug your knees. And then separate the knees. Reach your arms between your knees so that you can grab the inside edges of the arches of your feet. Try and get your lower legs vertical. You can grab your ankles if you need to. And then you're going to pull straight down. So this is true dead bug, right? So in some yoga traditions, they call this happy baby. But in my tradition, we were taught dead bugs do not move and happy babies do. So this is the dead bug because it's not moving. Take a couple more breaths. And then let your hands grab the outside edges of your feet. Now you get to be a happy baby. So you do want to move, wiggle around, explore. What feels good here? Maybe you want to flop around side to side. Maybe you just want to wiggle your feet. Maybe you want to bend and straighten the legs. You get to do whatever you want to do for about 4 more breaths here. And then when you feel like you're ready, put your feet on the mat. Knees are bent, ankles and knees together. We're going to do our legs like butterfly wings in coordination with our breathing. So the next time you exhale, let your knees drop open. And then as you inhale, bring the knees back together so they're pointing up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, they drop open again. And then as you inhale, they close back up. Do that 2 more times at your own breath rate. And then the next time that the knees drop open, just let them stay there. Soles of the feet are touching. We're going to take a deep breath in and flatten the low back. Just press your low back into the mat. So your pelvis will tilt back. The curve will disappear. You're going to hold that while you breathe. And then the next time you exhale, just relax and let that natural arch come back into your low back. One more time. Inhale, flatten the back. Hold it while you're breathing. On your next exhale, release it. Begin to extend your legs. Wiggle them a little bit if you need to. Play with the distance between the feet so that you get it just where you want it. Lengthen your spine, relax your shoulders, let your hands face up toward the ceiling, palms up. So your jaw should be relaxed, your eyes should be gently closed. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Let your body settle. Just feel yourself letting go, relaxing, surrendering to gravity. And then I want you to feel how easy it is to actually surrender when you become aware of the fact that the earth really is underneath you, holding you up. Like truly, the earth is supporting you physically. You don't need any muscular tension at all. But the earth supports you in other ways too. It supplies your food, your nourishment, supplies the building materials for your shelter. It's there to support you completely. Think about water. Your body is more than half water. Most of us are at around 60 to 65% water. So there's water on this planet, and that supports you too. It is you. The atmosphere, the air, supplies you with the oxygen that every cell in your body needs. And it provides the medium of exchange so that when you exhale carbon dioxide, the trees and the plants can get it and transform it into oxygen, which again gets transported back to you. So just taking a moment to truly embody the knowledge that you are completely supported. Everything is here for you. You are held. You are nourished. You are fed. Everything you need is given to you. So for the next couple of minutes, just really feel at every level, physical, mental, emotional, and energetic, that you are cared for, you are nurtured, you are supported. So without yet moving, notice how it feels physically to truly know that you are taken care of. You're safe. You have everything you need. Notice how that feels mentally, emotionally, energetically. Begin to move your fingers and toes a little bit. Start to deepen the breath. And then when you're ready, take a deeper breath in, spread the fingers and toes. Exhale through your mouth as you relax. Deeper breath in, stretch through arms and legs, just stretch. And again, exhale through your mouth as you relax again. Bend your knees. Roll to your right side if you can. And if you don't mind, maybe pause for a full breath in and out there. And then you can use your left hand in front of your chest and press yourself up into sitting. So as you come to your seated position, just find that deep connection between the base of your pelvis and this earth that so beautifully supports you. Let the crown of your head rise up into the air that so beautifully supports you. Let your shoulders slide down and relax. Your hands can be palms up or palms down on your knees or thighs. You are welcome to do a finger position or mudra if you feel called to do that. If you want to do one, but you're not sure which one to do. Whatever feels best is the right one for you. And if you're still not sure, you might consider doing ring finger and thumb. But whatever one calls to you is right. And if nothing calls to you, just let your hands be palms down. It's fine. What we're going to do today is a variation on Chandrabharana, which is a lunar breath, because we just had a new moon. But here's the kicker, you guys. You're going to inhale through your left nostril and exhale through your right nostril every single breath, but you may not use your hands. What? Yeah, so you'll be surprised. It's just focus, it's concentration. Inhaling through the left side, exhaling through the right side every breath. Just roll with it. Try not to analyze it. Don't try too hard. Just focus, just concentrate. Let them be deep, slow, full breaths. That's all I ask of you. Inhale through the left nostril, exhale through the right nostril. Every breath, no hands. One more breath like that. Inhaling left, exhaling right. And just allow your breathing to come back to normal. Keep the eyes closed. I want you to just take a moment and really observe through all of your systems, the physical, mental, emotional, energetic, and even spiritual realms of who you are, how it feels to have done this practice, to have done this relaxation, to have done this breath work, and to know at a truly visceral level that you are cared for. And let's slowly bring palms together in front of the heart. Take a moment in gratitude. Gratitude that you are supported. Gratitude that you are taken care of. Gratitude that you have everything you need. An amazing thing to be grateful for. Take one more huge breath in through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Palms to the forehead, just reminding us to be present, to pay attention. Palms to the lips, reminding us to speak our truth. And palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, to be kind, to be compassionate, and to be unconditionally loving. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.